Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the ninth episode of the Beyond the Assembly Line podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Hirsch.
I'm Somi.
And today's a little different. Today's a little special. We don't have any other guests coming on today. It's just going to be a conversation between me and Somi. And we're going to be talking about our early college experiences and our transition from high school into college. So I'm just going to let Somi take it away.
All right. Well, it's been a while. I'm back home in Houston, and you're out of Melbourne about to get ready for your internship.
Yes, dude, I'm super excited. Like I'll be returning uh back at Harris, but as a systems engineer, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see some old friends. So can't wait. It's going to be a good summer.
No, that's good, bro. That's good. I'm kind of just home chilling because I'm gonna start working full time at the end of August. So I just wanted to come home, chill for a couple months, and just relax before I get on the adult grind, the full time engineering stuff.
That's actually so insane, like bro. Like seeing all my friends graduate and like oh, it just hurts. Like I'm like, guys, don't leave. Please don't leave.
Yeah, I was in Austin for one of my childhood best friends, his graduation.
Mhm.
And it was just surreal because there's a bunch of us that have known each other since elementary school. And now it's just one graduation after another. Everyone is just moving on. And it's like weird to see, but it's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year. And you said you're going to be so you won't be working in Houston, right? You're going to be coming back to Florida.
Yeah. So I'm here in Houston, just like chilling, seeing family, because this is where I grew up. And then I'll be going back to Orlando. Well, technically Kissimmee, but if you're not from Orlando, you don't really know Kissimmee. So I'll be working in at Pepsi in Kissimmee when I come back in August.
Perfect, Somi. Well, I for today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about I guess, our high school and our college experience. And mainly, I guess I just want to start things off with, what's one thing that you would wish you have done in high school that would help you prepare for college? Um, we talked a little bit about this in our first episode, but I guess we haven't really did a deep dive into like what our high school experience was like, and then how we transitioned into college.
So, if there were one thing I wish I would have done, I think it's learning how to study. And that's something that my dad used to always tell me that I didn't know how to study when I was in high school. And I didn't know what he really meant at the time because I'm like, I go to class, I do my homework on time, which is better than like the majority of people at my high school. So I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I'm getting the good grades, I'm doing my homework, it's fine. But I wasn't actually like studying and learning the topic for what it was. I was just learning how to finish the homework questions and would kind of just hope that those questions were similar to the questions on the quiz or the exam. And I don't think that it really hit me that I didn't know how to study until I got to college. And some of the topics started to get a little bit more difficult to where you couldn't just show up to class and do the homework and always get the A. Like some classes, sure, but I think once you get into more difficult topics, you actually have to learn how to like study, go over practice problems. Maybe you watch a YouTube video where it like breaks down the topic even more, do extra problems in addition to the homework, things like that. So that's one thing for sure I wish I knew before going into college.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like it's so funny because in high school, I feel like everything was very on your own. Like, yeah, you would get with some friends and maybe you would study for one of your AP classes or like um, just sit together, do some homework together. But it it is a completely different level when you get to college.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, I feel like for one of my wishes or like something I wish I did in high school was actually just join clubs. Like, yeah, I was in a couple clubs like Math National Honor Society or um like I was in another club for volunteering, but it didn't really like represent me or like represent my identity or what I wanted to do. Like there was a robotics club, there was a couple other engineering clubs that I could have done. Um and I just never did it. Like I really wish I started building myself in high school But I really built myself in college kind of thing. But then again, like not everyone knows what they want to do, but if you do, you can always start early. Um, it's really funny. I always see like people post on LinkedIn. I'm like so chronically on LinkedIn. It's actually so silly.
Hirsch will
Um,
be in class. Some people scroll on TikTok in their free time. You scroll on LinkedIn in your free time.
no, for real. And I just see like high schoolers posting on LinkedIn. I'm like, whoa,
I
like
didn't even
these
know what
guys
this
actually
was back then.
literally, like these guys already feel like they have it together, and it's something that a lot of people can start doing. And I think I highly recommend people should do. Um, and speaking of AP classes, were you just kind of like dropped into your AP classes or like roped into them? Because like my school never really told me what AP classes like kind of meant. They just said, "Oh, it's college credit. Do what you want to do with that."
So for me, I actually only took 2 AP classes and
Okay.
I didn't even want to take them
Hmm.
because like I think I mentioned this before, but I played soccer and
Yeah.
like my plan was to like go play soccer in college and then like hopefully go overseas and play professionally. So if I'm being completely honest, soccer was my main priority all throughout high school. I always went to class, you know, I did my homework and I make sure to like get good grades and stuff, but that was honestly like secondary to soccer. All my free time outside of school went to practice, training sessions, traveling for games and tournaments, things like that. So, like you mentioned, clubs. I didn't even know clubs in my school. The only clubs I can name are like honor societies and like debate club. You know, like my school probably had a robotics team or something like I don't know because I was not involved in that side of the school whatsoever. As soon as I leave school and go home, I would nap for an hour or two, eat, drive 40 minutes to practice, practice 2 hours, 40 minutes back home, maybe do an assignment real quick and go to sleep. And that was Monday through Thursday for like 3 years, 3, 4 years. So I
Dude.
didn't really have time for that. And I went to two different high schools. In my first high
Okay.
school, I was there for 2 years and I was in this program called the Global Studies Academy.
Hmm.
And so I pretty much had to take AP, like pre-AP and AP
Okay.
for like the geography and like history classes and like the language classes, stuff like that. So the only AP I took was world history AP. I took that my sophomore year when I was still in the academy, and then Spanish 4. I took that my sophomore year as well. And then once I left that school and left the academy, I was like, no more APs. Like it took way too much time. So I really didn't have that much experience with AP classes, to be honest.
Dude, that is so fair. It's so with AP for me, basically there was a program in our high school called Advanced Placement Choice, Choice Plus, and it basically tells you, hey, throughout your entire 4 years, you must take 6 AP classes. And I'm like, okay, which one should I take? Because there's no like pathway or like whatever. So then you just start following the people. Like you just start listening to what people are taking. Initially, since I have an older sister, I kind of just heard from her. And I'm like, she's like, take human geo, then take psychology. And then from there, maybe take calc and take physics. But there are some AP classes that I didn't even know about, like AP computer science principles and the AP comp sci A. Um, I didn't know what computer science was back then. Like I just thought this class seems like too complex. Like I don't get it. Like what's the point on learning this material or whatever? Like they don't teach you that. They don't teach you like,
Yeah.
oh, comp sci will help you get into the path for software engineering, or comp sci will do this. Maybe calc will help you get started with your early engineering career because you're gonna need advanced level uh, mathematics as you go down the line. Um, so I just kind of followed my friends that I made in high school. So initially, it was my first class I took was like human geo, and it was absolutely unnecessary. I didn't need it. It was a waste of class. Like it was so dumb. Um, but after that, I took Calc 1, and look at that. Like, very, very well needed. Physics was very, very well needed, but I kind of regret not taking that computer science class because I feel like I could have learned a lot more early on and maybe even fell in love with coding even more early on. Um, but yeah,
I wish that so the Global Studies Academy I was in, I chose to be in the academy because I didn't want to go to this high school that I was originally zoned to.
okay,
So I wanted to go to this other high school, and the only way for me to get in was to like buy an apartment to where I could be zoned there, which is not feasible, or
okay, yeah, makes sense.
join this academy, and then I could go to that school. And that school had two academies. There was a business academy and a global studies academy. I got admitted to both,
Whoa,
but I didn't even really care. I just wanted to go to the school because, again, my main priority was soccer. I didn't really
soccer, yeah,
care. So I was like, okay, I'll just do global studies. That sounds easy, whatever. I really wish I picked the business one. But honestly, if I did, I probably would have stayed at that school because the APs and the classes I had to take were all the like the sucky ones, to be honest. Like the AP history classes are horrible, terrible. Like you have to read that thick textbook, with the size 4 font, and it's 800 pages of just straight history, facts, dates, and then you have to write an unbelievable amount in these
yes.
AP history classes, an absolutely unrealistic amount of writing. And so that just really turned me off on the whole idea of being in that academy, and I left. But if I were to take other types of AP classes, like you mentioned, like comp sci, things like that, like the math classes, I think those would have been very helpful for me. Like especially as an engineer, getting a head start on some of those classes would have been very helpful.
For
And
sure,
the
for
crazy
sure.
thing is that so I didn't take any AP like English classes or anything like that,
Mhm.
but for my friends that took it, they would tell me how difficult those classes were. And
Yes.
like the English classes in college, maybe it's just UCF, but these classes are unbelievably easy. Even like the history classes are like pretty much nonsense.
Yeah.
Like everything is like on Quizlet, like it's super easy. And like it's just completely different from the AP classes in high school.
No, I agree, and it's really funny that you mentioned that because I was about to say AP exams are 10 times harder than normal college exams. And again, I don't know
Yes.
if this is just a UCF thing, but I'm pretty sure universally, like, we can agree on this. Like, there is no
Yes.
way that you're gonna need to memorize all this material. Well, maybe kind of for calc, but like human geo, like no. Like the English classes, like AP Lit and Lang, like no. Um,
Mm-mm.
you're not
No.
even gonna be writing this much for a history class, like for AP human for A push, AP US history. It was like I had to write so much and I didn't like I don't need to do that in college.
Yes. But
Um
my American history class in college, I think I devoted a total of 10 minutes per week to that class versus like 2 hours per day you would need in high school to like read the textbook and do all the writing assignments and all of that. It's crazy.
and again, this is not to discourage anyone like to
No, no,
don't
no.
study, don't do this. Like
No, no,
no,
no.
it's definitely good because you're building up those habits early on for college. It's just kind of how I also took high school as a little bit kind of a joke because it was like simpler, but college it ramps up and it comes back to bite you. Um, Speaking of, how was your early college experience?
So I think each year was like a completely different phase for me.
Okay,
So I think first year, freshman year was a huge transition for me because one, I was fully on my own because all my, or at least my parents are here in Houston. I
right.
went out to Orlando by myself. Like I didn't know anyone there. I didn't have friends, family. Like I don't know anyone in this whole state pretty much. So I was all on my own, and I kind of took it upon me to take myself from being known as, most people in my hometown just know me as the soccer player but that no longer applies to me. I'm no longer an athlete. So I kind of wanted to take advantage of the fact that no one really knows me in my past and change my identity from the soccer player to the engineer, you know? So I decided, hey, I don't have my parents here telling me to do these assignments, but I'm going to take it upon myself to lock in, go to class, go to the library, do the homework, learn how to study, and do all that. So freshman year was a huge time to kind of just change that identity to being an engineering student. But I just made sure to do enough to like get the A in classes, and then I was enjoying myself. I didn't do enough in the extracurriculars. I wasn't involved in any clubs. I wasn't, going up and beyond for anything. I didn't network. I didn't use LinkedIn. I didn't have personal projects. It was just do well in classes and go enjoy yourself. Go hang out with friends, go party, do whatever. So that's what my freshman year is like, just school and then, living life.
Yeah. And yeah, again, it's like you're learning what college life is like. When you first enter college, it's like, there's so much to do. Let's go do this and let's go do that. But it's not like you're never thinking about your career, it feels like. Or at least I wasn't thinking about my career. At the time I was like, what is college? Like let's see what this is like. Um and something like my cousins and my sister also told me, she's like, they're like, your first friends are gonna be the people you sit next to in class. And I'm like, so all that was going on in my freshman year brain was sit next to the coolest person, and then they'll be my friend for the rest of my life. And now that is very true because my freshman year engineering class, it was the second semester, so spring semester. Um, I met a classmate of ours, and we did our one of our engineering projects, the Great Naval Orange Race boat project together, and we still talk about it to this day. How crazy it
Oh,
was that
yeah,
we
yeah,
met.
yeah.
It was like we both walked in super early into class, and the previous class was still there. We're like, "Are we late?" Because this guy's going over, like, the TA was going over topics like in lightning speed, and we're like, "Oh, let's sit down and like just start taking notes and stuff." Because this guy's like yapping so much, and then he goes, "Are you for the 8:30 class?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, you're just early." And then we started talking, and we're like, "You're an industrial engineer?" "I'm an industrial engineer." That's crazy. Like, that's
Oh,
awesome. And we've been basically together every step of the way. Um, yeah, it's really funny. Really
that's
funny.
cool that you met her like that early in college because I
Yes,
think
dude.
I had one friend that I met like very first day of classes that was an industrial engineer.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, I wasn't really involved in the engineering community, I guess, at
Yeah,
school. I really just had that one friend. I'd go to class and kind of just like sit in the back, take my notes, and then leave. All my friends were roommates, my roommates' friends, maybe people I played soccer with. Like all my friends are people outside of class. I made sure to like kind of separate those two worlds, and I just wasn't really involved as much as I should have been in the engineering world until probably like junior years when I got actually involved with like all of y'all.
that's fair. And that's another thing. I'm a commute student, so I live 15 minutes away from campus, um, which is like the benefit of me going to UCF. My roommate's my sister. Like we basically are. She's my integrated best friend. So if there's anyone that I would talk to about college or whatever, it'd be her. So it was a little bit different. Like I had to go outside and like just talk to people because it was really really difficult. Trying to get kind of integrated or like even uh, look look for friends kind of thing. And speaking of like career early on, um, like you said, for me, I also never focused on joining clubs early on in college. That is my biggest regret to this day. I really wish I started joining, uh, like maybe the Formula Club at UCF, which was basically students come together for this engineering competition and design a Formula student car, which is a mini Formula One car, basically. And then they do competitions around the U.S., around the globe, which is super cool. So other schools as well, like already come together and do the same competition. Um, I wish I was involved in that. Like I never knew that. Like that'd been really cool.
Dang, I didn't know that was a club either.
Yeah. Um, Instead, just went to class, took notes, tried to get an A. And because I didn't know how to study in high school, it kind of again bit me in the butt because I didn't know how to study for college classes. Like, um, when there was a quiz or an exam, I'm like, okay, just practice of the homework or whatever. I never looked up YouTube videos for or talked to some other students who are like taking the class with me and just form a study group and talk about material that could possibly be tricky on the exam. Never did that.
Yeah, definitely. I think YouTube is one of the greatest resources ever created in life. And no disrespect to some professors, but I learned pretty much I think YouTube taught me calculus, like 1, 2, 2, and 3. YouTube taught me differential equations. YouTube taught me statics. Like YouTube got me through college. It taught me the majority of my classes freshman and sophomore year before I got into the industrial engineering focused classes. YouTube got me through all of that.
That is so fair. There's a there's a calc teacher on YouTube called Professor Leonard, and
Yes, bro, I watched Professor the Swole guy.
yeah,
Yeah, the Swole guy.
he is so good at teaching concepts and he's
Yes.
incredible at teaching the examples. Like if you learn the concept through him, you're just going to know everything. Like it's so crazy. And I love my Calc 1 professor. He was really good. He just didn't know how to teach at the time and I didn't know how to learn. So I would resort to YouTube and that was awesome. That was literally great.
The huge shout out to Professor Leonard. Huge shout out. He got me through Calc 3. I found out about him in Calc 3. For Calc 1
Yes.
and Calc 2, I used organic chemistry tutor. And
Classic,
then
classic.
yeah.
Such a good teacher. Genuinely.
And
But
then for yeah, differential equations, he was my guy for sure.
I don't think Leonard had a matrix class at the time. Otherwise, so awesome. Like I just love his teaching style. Kind of wish I
Yeah.
went to his college.
Yeah, no, honestly.
But um another topic is um on the idea of getting your career started early on. So, we had a class freshman year. It's our engineering concepts class and basically one professor, Professor Jacqueline Sullivan, um, teaches you, hey, like there are these clubs that you guys can join that will help you build your engineering background. And I kind of took that as a joke class. Like she would say, like, oh, make sure you talk to your professors, and later on in life, when you need a referral, like you can talk to those people that you already been talking to. And I'm like, I won't need a referral. Like grad school? No, I don't need that. Um, she was right. She is so right. One of the sweetest people ever, too.
Yeah, we need to get her on here. I told her I was gonna reach out at the end of the semester, but things got busy. But when we come back, we'll get her on here.
For sure.
But you're right. Like I think that class was because there was like the lab portion where we did like the robot
The
maze
project,
and
yeah.
like the projects, and
Yep.
then there was the actual like lecture part where it was like all the students pretty much in the huge lecture hall.
Yep.
Everyone took it as a joke, bro.
Yeah, it's
No one really took it serious. And I think there was one class I actually went to and like paid attention to,
mhm.
and they brought a guest speaker. I don't remember what he was talking about, but I remember thinking like, "Well, this is like good content." Like I probably should have actually paid attention to what they've been saying the last couple months because they were right about like everything.
Yeah,
Like talking to professors is huge. Like since we've started this podcast and we're actually talking to all these professionals and professors, I'm realizing the huge advantage that we have talking to these people with PhDs and like so much experience like in industry. And they're more than willing to like tell you about it and teach you these things, but you have to be willing to, sit at the front of class, maybe talk to them after class, send them an email, go to office hours. They're open. You just have to like it's on you to reach out to them. But they're more than happy to like teach you about things.
yeah, absolutely. And another thing Miss Sullivan kind of emphasized was, hey, there's something called an internship that you should be looking for in during your time as an engineer. And I never really thought about internships until junior year. Like this is my this is 2 years in. Like, come on, like you can start looking for opportunities early on, which is why it's important to go to clubs. It's why it's important to maybe start some projects and network early on. To create that LinkedIn page if you haven't already, highly, highly recommend. It's a networking platform. We're not sponsored, so this is
Yeah.
just me talking about it. Like it's such a great platform. Um, UCF also has their own networking platform. It's not UCF's own, but it is a college platform. It's called Handshake. Handshake is also a really great opportunity for not only uh, later on, like when you're in your junior senior year, but definitely for your freshman and sophomore year. Handshake can be used to apply for a multitude of companies. Some companies really like freshmen and sophomores because that way they know that they're going to stay with this company for a very long time. Like they can definitely do that. And you can build your experience really, really early on. Like Mitsubishi Powers is a really close tie with UCF, and on Handshake they have their engineering internships open. If I knew about it early on, I totally would have applied. And they usually look for freshman and sophomore because they know that they're probably going to stay with us for a long time, get that experience, and then if they love us, they'll stay with us. If they don't, then they're going to leave.
How did you get your first internship? Did you just like
Well,
apply online?
uh, so when I came to UCF, I actually heard about a program called the CWEP College Work Experience Program, and they're in close ties with Lockheed Martin. So my first internship was with Lockheed Martin through UCF. It's their College Work Experience Program, and that pipeline is fantastic. Like getting your foot in the door and then working that industry job off the rip, so amazing. But I didn't get that experience or that opportunity until my junior year when I really started to be like, oh, I need to put my career a lot more first. Like, yes, classes are here, but like career, I need some experience. Like, let's start looking into this. Let's start fixing up my resume. Like, put in all those projects that I've already worked on prior and uh, set that uh, send that application. And a manager at Lockheed liked my resume, and he was like, "Hey, we'd like you to work as a manufacturing engineering intern." Um, and for a year, I worked with them, and it was great. Like I got to learn a lot of analysis skills. I worked on a facility redesign project. It was awesome.
Okay, I see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's actually when I met you too. I think you know this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I have the pretty much the same story because I it was end of sophomore year. Yeah, so it was end of sophomore year. I was starting to hear about some classmates that were getting internships at like big companies too. People are like, "Oh, I'm going to Amazon. Oh, I'm
Yes.
going to Tesla, or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, I haven't even really thought about." I've been so focused on school, I didn't even realize how important the internships were.
Hmm.
So towards the end of sophomore year, I started applying for stuff, and I didn't know what the CWEP program was at the time. And so it was one of my good friends who was not even in engineering. She's like in health sciences or something. One of her good friends is in computer science, and he had just gotten reached out to about an interview for the CWEP program. And so I think I was talking to my friend about internships. She was just like, "Oh, how you doing?" I told her I'm looking for internships, and she was like, "Oh, you like one of my friends is in this about to do something called CWEP. Like you should look into that." And at first I thought she was just like saying whatever and she didn't really know like what she was talking about.
Yeah.
But I was like, actually let me check. And so that's when I found out. I applied online and then that was it. I kind of just let it be. And then about a month later, I ran into her friend that's computer science. We're not close, but I know him through my friend kinda.
Mhm.
And I was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" We were catching up, and he told me the night before, Lockheed called him and pretty much gave him the offer. And the manager was telling him like, "Hey, if you have any friends that are in engineering, tell them to apply because we need a lot of people. A lot of like seniors are graduating, so we need a lot of engineering students right now." So he told me, and I was like, "Oh, I already applied a month ago." He was like, "No, like redo your resume right now and then apply again tonight, and
Wow.
then tomorrow morning, like send an email and call them." So that's what I did. Right? Me and him, we sat down. I like readjusted my resume. I added in like the Great Naval Orange Race and like the robot project we did in the first
Yes.
year engineering class.
Yep.
I like added in some nonsense from like my restaurant experience and kind of like related it to leadership somehow. And then next morning, I reapplied. I sent an email and I called them. And the lady was like, okay, like I just got your application. And I was like, "Hey, just making sure." And then 2 days later, I got a phone call to set up my first interview with them.
That's awesome. And
So,
dude,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say this off the rip. Don't don't ever downplay any sort of work because genuinely work, you're building up any sort of skill. Like you're building
Yeah.
up your soft skills and communication, leadership, like you said. Like I would never ever downplay skills. If you think that you shouldn't put, oh, I was a what you call it, service center assistant or something like that, on your resume because it doesn't relate to engineering, put it on there. Like if it's your early experience and your only experience, put it on there. It still looks
Yeah,
really good.
for sure. Yeah, especially if you don't have that internship already, it's better to have something than nothing, and kinda, like, use your words to make it sound a certain way, you know?
Yeah, your resume is your brochure for selling yourself. Like if you could sell yourself with your
Mhm.
resume, that's exactly how it should be formatted. Like I'm I'm sure we could talk about resumes for like an hour, but
Yeah,
that has to be like another topic for sure.
yeah. We'll get David on again. We'll talk about resumes again.
Yes.
Oh, and one thing I did, which is not good,
Okay.
but during my interview, it was with 2 people that I actually ended up, like, working with later, but
Okay.
during the interview, they asked me about the Great Naval Orange Race project.
Okay.
So, the project is where you and a group of, like, 5 or 6 people,
Yeah.
you're supposed to build a boat to where you put an orange in the boat, and it can go around this fountain that's in the middle of our campus, which
Mhm.
is in the shape of, like, a semicircle. And I think they give you like $60 or whatever is like the maximum amount of money you can spend on materials, like the motor for the boat and all that.
Yep.
And like at the end of the semester, like every student in the group sees if it works pretty much. And they
Yeah,
asked me
it's a
about the
race, yeah.
project.
Uh-huh.
They asked me about the project because the 2 people doing my interview were alumni of UCF. So they knew the project and asked me how it went. And I said that my group got our boat to go all the way around and we finished like top 5. That's not true. My boat
No.
my boat did not go anywhere at all, but it helped me. I mean, I don't it wasn't just that, but it definitely, like, helped me out.
Oh,
So,
man.
Gabby, if you hear this, I lied, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but it worked out.
That's really funny, but don't do that, guys.
Yeah, don't
Don't
lie,
be
don't lie.
blatantly lying. Obviously, that was a little
Uh,
white lie, but,
yeah, that was
uh,
hilarious.
that is funny, so me. Oh, man. But do you think you're probably the best candidate there, though,
Yeah, yeah,
regardless?
yeah. Yeah, because I mean, once I started, I met the 2 people that did my interview, and they were like, "Hey, like, I just wanna say you had a great interview, like, you were definitely one of our favorite prospects, like, we're glad we got you on the team and all that."
Oh,
And we actually worked on a couple projects together.
yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Ah, man, I'm trying to think about our boat. Our boat went in a straight line, so we could get it to the second checkpoint. because there was like checkpoints along the semicircle, and we were saying like one of our group mates. It was three IEs and one computer engineer, and we're like, we don't know how to make a boat. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone knows how to make a boat. But
Dude, I didn't know
regardless,
what I
like,
was doing.
like um, we're like, it's only gonna make it to the first checkpoint. I'm pretty sure it made it to the third, and
Oh,
then
dang.
or the second. Sorry, the second. And there was a guy in our heat. He was from my high school, and they made a speedboat and knocked it out of the park. They made it all the way through, and I'm like, did it discourage me from engineering? No, it actually made me want to make more stuff. It made me want
Oh,
to like keep persevering. I asked
yeah.
him after the race. I'm like, dude, that was sick. Like, what did you do? And he's like, so this is how we did it. This is how we structured it. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, guys, like this is how we should be doing projects.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is college. Got it. Um, but yeah,
I think it's cool to see like winter in college, like UCF is not Harvard, but it's also not like a nonsense school, you know, like it's not nothing. It's still a major university. And I think it's been really interesting to see that no matter where you are, like what level of school you're at, wherever, there's some really smart people. There's
yes,
some very intelligent people. And it's very at least to me, like you said, like some people take it and maybe it hinders them or makes them nervous, like, that, like, inspires me because 'cause I'm like, "Hey, like, we're in the same school. So if you're here, there's n no reason why I shouldn't be able to, do something similar as well," you know?
absolutely. And I really agree with that. And that kind of transfers into work as well. Like with internships, when I interned at Harris, at Elder Harris, um, there's some people from Harvard, Stanford, from some people from Yale that also came to the same area where I was working. And some people were IE, some people were Mechis, aerospace, and I got to discuss the same things that they're going to be working on as well. And I'm like, I'm here for a reason. They're here for a reason. Like,
Exactly.
we're all here. Like, we all got to the same place. Um, so yeah, don't ever be discouraged. Don't ever be discouraged by your peers. Always learn from whenever you can learn, and you always got YouTube. You always got YouTube.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because everyone has, like, strengths and weaknesses, so someone could be the best at programming or something, but then maybe they're not too good on their business skills. So maybe there's a business student that, you know, is an expert when it comes to business and networking and is good when it comes to like the finances of a business, but they know nothing about programming. So don't, you can't compare apples to oranges. And yeah.
Absolutely. But I think it's a good time to end our episode. And yeah, we had a really good conversation. Any last words, Somi?
No, not really. I think just if you're in high school, take the time to learn how to study. Like understand that there's a difference between studying and, just getting a good grade or just getting assignments done. Like take the
Hmm.
time to learn the concept. And when you're in college, once again, everyone tells you join clubs. It could be social or academic clubs, but just join clubs, get active. And yeah, that's it
Yeah,
for me.
for sure. Make sure you start. Don't be too hesitant in terms of making that early resume, even if you don't have much experience on it. Go ahead, do it. You never know when you're going to need that resume for a random opportunity that comes your way, or make that LinkedIn profile. If you're an early freshman or going into your sophomore year and you still don't have that LinkedIn, make one. You're gonna need it. But yeah, let's close out. I'll see you guys later.